Cool. Right, I reckon we should make a start, guys. Thank you all very much for joining us for our first online Condor AGM. And no offence, but I hope it is the last one we have to do online. If you've not been to one of these before, we normally meet at the East Oxford Community Centre in Cowley. They're normally quite interactive, and by that, people normally would shout out with questions or sometimes heckling, which is allowed. We encourage that. Dave Dyer has offered to keep an eye on the chat tonight, so please feel free to get involved on the chat option or just shouting out stuff as we go along. That's totally fine. I do believe we have a birthday boy on the call tonight. Peter Fifield has hit the 26, I believe. Amazing. Congratulations.
You look much older, Peter.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Peter. I don't know if Don Rash is here as well, but it's also his birthday, and I believe he's a smidge older than Peter. Happy birthday, Don. So thank you for joining us on your special day. If I just chat through the agenda for this evening. The plan is to talk about the year. Everyone.
Do you want to watch this? Should I?
Sorry, if you want to watch it with yourself, yeah, that's fine.
Oh man, unless it's heckling, go on mute, please. So everyone on the board, what's covered, will cover what's happened in the area. So
no, right.
Around 14 of us.
If we purchased from yarn dyers, those were all fine.
Oh yeah, Aaron Curran, David, mute. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, get in. So we'll talk about the year that we've had. Then we will come to the annual awards, which will cover club contribution and some individual achievements, which Kristen will help me with. Then we will move on to announcing the new board for the next season. Thank you to everyone who has voted online. That's been a massive help there. We can try and have a go at changing some inner tubes at the end. This will require you to have a wheel, a inner tube, a pump and a tyre lever most likely. So if you want to grab those items during the evening, please do, and we'll have a go at that at the end. So that's what we're going to cover tonight. Hope that sounds like a good plan to you guys. So I'm going to just start with my update. I'm going to share 2 slides with you. This is the first one. I think you can't really talk about this year without mentioning COVID. It's affected all of us in many different ways, most of it negative. And let's be honest, looking down the barrel of winter, it's likely to do so for the foreseeable future. However, I'd like to share my second slide, which is this one. It is the smiley bush in Sunningwell, and it was taken from one of our many selfie challenges we did. For me, it represents the positivity and resilience we've all shown during this period. I'm incredibly proud of how we've responded as a club. A lot of us have put a lot of effort into trying to make the right decisions at the right time throughout the year to keep both members and the local community safe. So from my point of view, I think we've done a really good job, and I'm really, really pleased with all the work that we've done and all the contributions that have been made. So thank you. And we'll come back to a few more thank yous later on. So you don't listen to me waffling on for hours, I'm going to now pass the baton over to our first board member, Ollie, who's going to talk about some of the fantastic work that he has been up to this year. So Ollie, I don't know if you're online.
Oh, I'm here.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm doing this on a 4G hotspot, so apologies if I drop out a little bit or break up or whatever happens. So just wanted to start with a big thank you, really. This year, it would have been sort of quite easy for people not to take out new memberships or sign up again for a membership because the club was effectively paused to business for a decent period. Not rides going out, but as you can hopefully see from the graph there, we're currently at 255 members. This data is from about 10 days ago. So actually, that's very good, I think, considering considering all that's happened this year. We've had still get lots of inquiries to the inbox the whole season. I think people who were out riding with their families in lockdown, if they were lucky enough to find a bike to buy on the market, sort of buying bikes and sort of getting out there. So when things got going again, we're able to sort of look for a local club. So we've had lots of people join from that sort of side, and also
great fun drinking, socialising. They called him, said, "Look, there was a false negative. You are actually positive."
No.
So Cheryl, you can mute people. I think.
If you're Italian, there's a false positive there. So it's...
Hello. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Good.
Brilliant. Yeah. So basically, lots of people getting in touch, lots of people moving to Oxford as well. So lots of the lots of membership base are actually new members, which is lovely to see as well. So yes, whilst numbers have slightly dipped this year, certainly not sort of concerned about that. So the male-female split is 67% male, 33% female. That is actually on par with what we've had the last couple of seasons. So whilst we're definitely striving for 50-50, I think things are still looking pretty good on that front. So one thing we have noticed, which could account for numbers being down, is the student memberships. So back in 2017, sort of looking back through a bit of data, we had 45 student members at this time, where that's dropped to 17, I think, or maybe 20, maybe 20 at the minute. But basically, it's dropped off quite a lot. So I think there's more we could be doing to build relationships with Brookes University and Oxford University, obviously, as well, to sort of be like another option for cycling. But Brookes, for example, 2-3 years ago, were very organised with their cycling club, which understandably at the moment is not really going to happen. But we've had someone from Brookes get in touch this week, so hopefully seeing more sort of in that area. So that's really positive. So Cheryl, would you mind jumping to the next slide for me, please? Oh, hello. So we have a new membership option, recurring memberships. Something we launched quietly back in March, April time. We launched it quietly because we felt like it wasn't, really the right time to be kind of announcing a whole newfangled sort of membership when, the club was paused and the club business was paused and lots of other things going on in the world, obviously. So the thing with recurring memberships basically removes a complexity from our busy lives of having to sign up again for your Condors membership. So what will happen, it will automatically roll over. So as long as you've got an active bank card on file on Stripe, which is this payment service we use, and you're happy for the membership to roll over, that's what will happen. You'll be billed another £30 after 12 months. This functionality basically is there sort of thanks to our new website. So you get plenty of reminder emails to sort of inform you that you'll be billed, that your membership's about to expire and you will be billed. And Stripe will even tell you if the card on file that you have is expiring or has expired, so you can log in to into the account section of condors.cc to update it. And what's also been quite nice is you can upgrade your membership from a standard full adult membership to one that will roll over sort of thing. So actually, without any real advertising, apart from in a couple of recent news flashes, we've had the slide says 32 Condors have taken up the option, but it's actually like 34 or 35 now. So we're really pleased about that. So obviously we have a lot of people who have been in the club a long time. And it's just nice to see sort of people signing up with that with the actual method. So that I think we've got a sort of a nice group of membership options for all at the moment. And one thing which we always look to emphasize at the AGM and hopefully throughout the year, it's just that we would rather have people sort of signed up, paid Condors, but when I say pay, like if you get in touch to welfare at condors.cc, and I'm sure Jen will touch on this later, we're always there. We always want to help out if we can. Like 30 quid isn't a lot for some people, but it's loads for others. So, you know, we'd rather have you sort of get in touch about membership, you know, and we will sort something out because we always do. Would you mind jumping to the next slide, please, Cheryl? Thank you. So I really like this quote from Joe at the start, earlier in the season. So it's 2020 will be a good year for the accident log. And I thought that was an excellent quote, and it certainly has been. But all jokes aside, and I'll flip on my laptop. The board, yeah, we try and keep. We try to sort of find out what accidents occur on ride. Recycling club accidents are going to happen, and especially at races where sort of Condors are competing. So you know, we do keep a log, and we changed our data policy this year to sort of make it a bit more transparent to members that we're capturing that data. So I think we publicise that in a news flash, most likely. We'll keep the records for 12 months, and then they're removed from the list. So data that's captured is rider name, the ride date, what type of ride was, so sort of social or a faster ride, what injury was unfortunately sustained if there was one, or it could be damage to a bike or kit, which is just awful. And obviously the cause of the incident as well. And it just gives us an opportunity to kind of look at it in board meetings and sort of like see if there's anything we can be doing to kind of prevent such things moving forward. Yeah, so traditionally the main causes of ride, people braking unexpectedly in a ride group. Yep, everyone's I think seen that. Incorrect tire pressure for the time of year. So I'm pretty sure Aaron is a big one for sort of like picking people up on that, and rightly so. But yeah, that's definitely proved to be a sort of big cause in the past. And as always, if you know you've been involved in an accident or you're concerned about what happens on group rides, do sort of reach out, and then, you know, again, we'd rather know than not. So just get in touch via ride leader feedback form, email, and obviously Facebook, or even Strava, which is somewhere where we do sort of like spot sort of incidents happening on rides. So, and yeah, can I just go back? Haven't got a slide for it, but just want to say about the website. So our new version of condors.cc has been live 18 months now. And just wanted to say sort of like what a good investment that has proved to be. There was some cost to get it sort of set up and running, but we've saved an absolute fortune in maintenance costs this year for that website. It's got something like 99% uptime or something. So it's brilliant. It works really well. It's easy to look after for ourselves. It's got a really good membership database, which has made my life a lot easier. And you know, it's just a good service. So keep sending content through for it, because there's nothing worse than a website that doesn't get updated. But so we try our best on the board. But you know, if we can get more stuff coming through from board members and anything we want to sort of put up there, it'd be really good to see. But so that's everything from me. Thank you.
Oh, super, Ollie. Thank you so much. Brilliant. Really good.
No worries. Pleasure.
Going to move on to finances now, which I'm hoping Dave Dyer, our treasurer, is around. Dave, can you hear me?
Hello there. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Can you put the slide up for the finances, Cheryl? I think it's probably here we are. Yeah. Excellent. So here we've got a few graphs, as ever, showing the finances. The one on the left is to do with how we've spent our money.
Oh, sorry. Jen distracted me.
Sorry.
I'm really sorry. Hang on, Dave. I'm gonna go back.
We were just trying to disrupt you there. Disrupting.
There we are. So on the graph on the left, we've got how we've spent our money, and the way I've displayed this is chopping everything up into 4 categories with how we planned to spend it on the left and how we actually ended up spending it on the right. Now, the different categories are listed underneath, and the big change was that big red one about riding bikes. Now that includes all the racing and the training, ride leading, and we ended up spending almost nothing on that. The 2 things that we did over winter, which was the spinning and the cyclocross race, we were expecting to spend a little bit of money on, but the spinning broke even and the cyclocross race actually made a profit. So that, with a little bit of racing spending in the summer, meant that overall everything to do with actually riding our bikes was well, we didn't really spend very much money at all. The purple bar at the top is gifts and prizes, some of which we'll see later on in the AGM as they get awarded. We spent a little bit more than we were expecting to do on that, but obviously we could afford to, and overall we did spend a lot less. The blue bar for business has increased for what we were expecting, and that increase is largely the price we paid for the lockup. So as you may have heard, Condors now have got access to our own storage unit, which I think is fantastic news, and it could represent a real step forward for the club, where we can get involved with a lot more things a lot more easily. Now we've got a place to store things, so if we do things once, it'll be easier again to do them again. So I think exciting times to do with that. So big differences in what we spent a lot less than we were expecting, but the graph on the right, or the bar charts, the 2 columns on the right, show the income from memberships was actually very close to what we were expecting. So as Ollie was saying earlier, memberships held strong. Now, when we budgeted, we didn't think about which categories of membership the different people were going to come in by. But on the right, I have split it up by the different categories. The blue is the normal membership. The red is the new subscriber membership, where you have that repeated thing every year. So it's nice to see that representing a little chunk of it. And then there's a green one for students and a very, very thin one at the top, which is the supporter membership for people that have moved away. And then overall, over on the right, you'll see the graph of activity through the year. And you can see for the first half of the year up to about March, the graph would be, as you'd expect, lots of activity going up and down and mostly breaking even. And then after March, there's that slow rise in the graph where we weren't spending any money, but we were still getting lots of people join the club gradually through the summer months. So the picture now is very rosy. We've got lots of money in the bank, more than we would like in a way. So we were talking as a board at the last board meeting about maybe making some large or a large charity donation to represent a bit of the, or a lot of the money that we didn't spend, but we were planning to. Now, we haven't got very far in the planning of who we would give money to and how we would decide how to do that. But I guess we could open things up to members now, or by text or email. You could start getting together and thinking about ideas. So I don't know if any other board members want to say anything about the possibilities of charity donations from our spare money, but it's certainly something that we'd like to do. So that's about everything I've got to say. If anybody has any questions, then maybe shout now or type them in the chat or email us. But overall, money-wise, I think we're looking very good. Okay, thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you, Dave. Excellent job. I'll just chip in and say that although I have spunked a lot of money on thank you gifts, that was partly because you have to do a minimum order. So I have some very, very cool merch at home, which will go up on the Condors shop this week, actually. So keep an eye out for that. And please do email us or contact us with your suggestions for charity donations. It might be nice perhaps to give something to someone that's been an organisation that's been really affected by COVID, for example. So kind of local community would be ideal, I think, for us. So thank you very much, Dave, for that. Who have we got next? Aha!
How do I move to the next slide?
Just press a button, just like this.
Oh yeah. So hi everyone. I think most people on here will know me. For anybody that doesn't, I'm Jennifer Greystone and I'm your welfare officer at the moment. And the majority of what I do, I can't really talk that much about because it's a lot of confidential stuff. So I deal with any concerns in the club. I deal with anything that anybody comes to me about, wants to discuss confidentially. And that could be a number of personal issues or anything like that that I can help with. I tend to get involved in any complaints that come in to the board and help dealing with them. And I guess there was just a couple of things I wanted to say tonight. And Cheryl's already touched on the information about and what's been happening obviously this year that we all know about with COVID. And it was just to say I have posted something on the Facebook page that's the latest guidelines from British Cycling, which came out on the 15th of October. And it just talks about the different tiers of lockdown and what that means for cycling. And it looks as if certainly the aim is that we're going to be able to continue to cycle outside in groups of 6 despite changes in tiers, which is excellent news. But obviously, please do come to me with any concerns about that or any issues, and the board will obviously keep you updated if any of our club policies change around that. And then just going back to what Ollie said earlier, I do have a little bit of money that I can support people who can't access any club activities for financial reasons. And what we do with that, just so that people know, it's people need to make a written application to me, and the welfare address is at the bottom here, or you can, if you know me directly, you can ping me a message on Facebook or whatever. But I need to have a written request along with some reasons for it, and then I would look at it with the club president and the club secretary, and we would make a decision whether it was something that we would support or not. And we're really keen to help people out and support people, so so please do come forward for that if it's required. But I think that's it from me at the moment. So thank you very much.
Yay! Thanks, Jen. Thanks, Jen. Right, who's up next? Aha! Matt Wicks, our ride leader secretary.
Good evening, everybody. So yeah, it's been a funny old year for ride leading, because just as we're about to get started with big group ride season, it was taken away from us and we were told we couldn't ride in groups for a little while. But we were eventually allowed back on the road, and we were told that maximum group size 6, you know, bad news if, like me, you like tucking in for 95% of the ride. But actually, you know, it was really, normally ride leading is a bit more of a solo job, but we had lots of conversations as a board about how we were going to get back on the road and what kind of directions we were going to give people. And we decided to keep it social, first of all. We did not want to overburden the NHS with crashes as a result of fast group rides. So we kept things pretty simple. And then as that took off and seemed to be going well, we introduced some dev rides. And actually, from my observations, I think that the quality of those rides that have been going out has been really very high, from the way that people have been describing their rides, the instruction they've given, particular focus on the ride maybe. I think it's been a real improvement on last year and previous years. We've had more people leading those dev rides. We've certainly had, I think, more women leading the faster rides, which has been excellent to see. Really good mixed rides going out, and I've really enjoyed the few rides that I've been on. We haven't been able to run any training, sadly. Hopefully that's something that might be on the agenda soon. And are we going to talk about awards later, Cheryl, or is that going to happen now?
That is here. That is here, I'm afraid.
So am I okay to do that now?
Absolutely, please do.
So there's some honourable mentions for some ride leaders this year. That first one up the top, Will Pepper, he's a good friend of mine, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying he's not someone who's particularly fond of leading rides in the past, and certainly the thought of creating a route and having a map is something that would send terror through him. But he's stepped up and led a lot of rides, which has been great to see. Where are you, Will? Can you say hello?
He's lurking.
Where are you?
Yeah.
So it's been really appreciated and great to see, Will. Thank you very much for stepping up. Peter Fifield too has been I really enjoyed his recent post about winter riding through the winter and what that was going to involve, and he was keen to keep going. I'm really hopeful this year we might see more Condors on the road through the winter riding in groups safely, because traditionally there's a huge drop off and people go and do their own thing in their miserable garages, sometimes even in the middle of Zoom meetings, and hopefully this year we'll have a few more on the road. And then there's a new member there, Lizzie Hodges. I've not had the pleasure of meeting you yet, Lizzie, but it has not gone unnoticed. You've been leading some great rides, and encouraging others to do so as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
But it's gives me great pleasure to announce the ride leader of the year, who is fortunately someone who's going to be stepping into my shoes to help you lead safe, exciting rides, and that is Laura Fennick. Thank you very much, Laura, and congratulations. So Laura has met with me a few times over the course of this last year to discuss particularly dev ride leading, and had some great ideas, and I'm really confident that I'm handing over to someone who's going to do a fantastic job. So thank you very much, Laura. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a big award, tell you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is that all that's in your speech?
It's very well deserved, you know. And I was going to carry on, or certainly putting an application to do this job again for the year. And when I saw that you were applying, I thought, you know what, I can step away from this knowing it's going to be in fantastic hands. And I didn't see any point in contesting that. You're going to bring great energy and fresh ideas to it. So congratulations and thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Laura. And thank you, Matt. Thank you very much. Right, I think we're going to move on to Condors Women. So our women's officer is Helen Worrell, who I believe is on the line somewhere.
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Hello.
Yeah, so I'm just going to give a short update about what the women's section's been up to. Just to say that Kristen will cover women's racing and updates regarding that later on in the presentation. So if we can move to the next slide, please. Thank you. So we do have a Condors Women's Committee for the club, and I just wanted to say thanks to Jen, Kristen and Kat for their enthusiasm and participation this year. So we did manage to meet the Women's Committee. We met at the beginning of the year. We had some really engaging discussions, really
to be honest, most of the posts
fruitful conversations about what we wanted to do for the year, which obviously then got slightly scuppered. But we still managed to put together our aims for the Women's Committee, which was actually really useful to think about what we wanted to do as a committee and what we were focused towards. And these are now up on the Women's Committee website, so you can take a look there if you want to. And then also one of the things we've been discussing since the beginning of the year is the possibility of running another Women and Bikes event. I don't know, some of you may have attended that event a few years ago, or a couple of years ago now. We did meet with the Broken Spoke Bike Co-op and a few people there just to chat about it. And this is still currently working on this, so do look out for further announcements when we hope to be kind of putting together people to work on this. Just to say, do let me know if you're interested in getting involved in the Women's Committee. We're always happy to have new people get involved. We tend to meet every couple of months, and yeah, it's just kind of discussions around women's activities in the club, making sure that they're all supported, talking about what we can do, and also anything that I can do as a board member to help further the aims of the Women's Committee. Could we move on to the next slide, please? So the one kind of thing that I was involved in this year, that some of you may have attended, so the Train Like a Woman event, which happened, it seems like such a long time ago, but April. So planning for this actually started in January. I'd seen that Jazz had been giving talks around the UK, or was planning talks on this, and I thought that I'd be quite interested in hearing what she had to say, and other club members probably would as well. So I kind of put together a plan, and I got in touch with her, and we, as a committee and board, we put together this event. It was originally intended to be in person in the Florence Park Community Centre, but obviously things happened and we could no longer do that, and it went to an online event, which actually turned out quite well because we had really good attendance from all over the UK. So people who wouldn't have normally been able to attend could attend. So we had 75 attendees, and 75% of the ticket sales went towards Jazz's fundraiser. That's £429 in total was donated to Cancer Research UK, and we kept the other 25%. Could we move on to the next slide, please? So the last thing I've been involved in this year, so women's rides. So normally, had things been normal, there was a plan to run the full kind of women's spring sessions, so women's introductory group sessions, which unfortunately we couldn't do this year. So instead, once lockdown lifted and we felt able to run group rides again, we did manage to run a few women's sessions. So we had some introductory rides aimed at non-Condors. Sorry, I'm going to just close something. Which I made the mistake of sending my partner to the shops and saying she could WhatsApp me if she had any questions. Women's sessions, so introductory rides aimed at non-Condors. So we did manage to have a couple of those run in. So we had 2 groups going out at the end of August and 1 group at the end of September. And I just want to say thanks to Jen, Ruth, Harriet, Cheryl and Laura for their help with these. It was really good to have other experienced ride leaders who are around to lead groups of women who are new to group riding. And then as well as that, we've been having the women's rides, just regular women's slow socials. So another aspect of what I wanted to offer was for women who may have been kind of riding through lockdown or maybe new to group riding, but just have a slower kind of introductory session for them, just regularly leading those as well. And I'm hoping to keep offering these throughout the winter. So I think it'd be good to keep up the momentum with winter riding this year. That was all I had to say for the moment. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Helen. That's fantastic. Who we got next? Kit. Oh, Helen Rayner. Hello.
Greetings. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Fantastic. Please, can you hit the next slide? I feel like Chris Whitty. Next slide, please.
I'll press again. Hang on.
Thank you. So our first kit delivery was due in April. That order window opened in February. That was my first. It was very exciting as we were introduced to a new system from Tactic, whereby people placed orders directly with them. And it seemed to go quite smoothly. But then obviously COVID happened and the factory in Girona closed down for a couple of months. And so that April order got delayed. So thank you for your patience if you were affected by that delay. Next bullet, please. So in lieu of using Beamline as our collection and delivery point, over the course of the year, this slide's a bit out of date now. I made 32 contactless kit deliveries to various different club members. So if you received a delivery from me, I had an absolutely fantastic time cycling all over Oxford, delivering kit. I put this slide together on Tuesday. Actual mileage now comes in at 302 kilometres to make these deliveries. I've had an absolute blast. It certainly helped my fitness. And that's a totally unexpected part of this year. I just expected to kind of traipse down to Beeline, drop stuff off, email people, but actually you've had personalised deliveries. So if you received one from me, thank you very much for helping to make that contactless. There is another bullet on here, which again, can you delete that bullet? Can we go back? Because it was some different kits that got ordered that has since been delivered. So if you ordered in the August for October window, that has not yet been dispatched. It was due mid-October, so I'm hopeful that that Girona hasn't been too affected by COVID again. and that you will hear from either me or others within the club around when we will be able to make delivery for that. As at the moment, Beeline is still only open for one customer at a time, and we've agreed that that basically we can't use them in the way that we normally would if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic. So I emailed Cheryl after the last AGM last year and said, I noticed that there's no kit officer. Like, what needs to happen? Can I put my name forward? Thinking I'd kind of see what happened, and that's exactly what I've done. Like I say, I've had an absolute blast this year. Some changes in my job mean that I haven't stood again. But it's been an absolute pleasure to get more involved, to meet people, to do contactless deliveries, to find out more about the runnings of a cycling club. And I'll just say what fun it's been. So thanks for having me.
Oh, Helen, it's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you for helping us continue to look good during this period. So thank you very much. Awesome. And thanks, Arnie, for helping with the doing a great job. Who have we got next? Time trials. Mr. Joe Greystone.
Hello, everyone. TTs. So let's have a look. So first of all, thanks for all the volunteers. It was really good of you to step up. We had a lot of volunteers this year, and I couldn't have done it without you. It was very helpful of all of you. Thank you. So club TTs, how do they go? Well, we ran 3 TTs in the end. So like everything else, COVID affected us quite severely. The lockdown happened 2 weeks before the first TT. So we ended up, once it was lifted, running our 2 scheduled time trials, which are Cumnor and Staghampton. We did manage to get a bonus Brill Hilly TT as well. And I'm sorry for everyone for putting, for having the first TT as such a fast course. There was a lot of people did this course who were doing their first ever TT. And it's quite, it can be quite intimidating to do the TT on there. I know my first TT was on a dual carriageway, and it can be quite scary, but we had our biggest turnout there. 57 riders did it. Yeah, it seemed to be a good event. It all went very smoothly. So we had 126 riders in the whole, in over the 3 TTs, and there were 93 men, 33 women. So that's about 25% women, which is broadly in line with membership, I guess. It's much more than you get in most time trials. So I think we do very well with getting participation for the time trials. So we did 1,452 miles in total in 66 hours, 40 minutes and 36 seconds, which works out, that's 114 miles more than last year. Given that it's only 3 TTs, it's pretty impressive. And it's an average speed of 21.78 miles per hour. Very good. And that's including Brill Hilly. So that's really impressive.
That's really good.
That is really impressive, yeah. So yeah, just on the TTs, normally, if you're not aware, normally we run a league. So we would normally have a time trial league. You would score points for each TT you did. You would accumulate points throughout the year. We have one for time trial bikes, one for road bikes. This year we couldn't really do that. It was a bit too many unknowns to run the event, and yeah, so we just stuck it as a standalone TTs. So I hope you're okay with that. Then we had a hill climb, and the hill climb was very popular. It was on a Watlington hill, so a different hill this year. We had 40 riders in total, which is not bad. 7 women, which is a bit disappointing. It would have been good to see more, and I'm not really sure how to go about attracting more women to it. But you know, 7's better than last year, so we did quite well. It was a very good event. I think everyone enjoyed it. I'm certainly enjoyed watching it. I don't enjoy riding them at all. I don't know how anyone enjoys riding these. It is horrible. It's quite a big hill. It's 8.2%, average speed 11 miles an hour, which is really impressive, actually. Oh, here we go. So the hill climb champions this year were Jonah Bonder Sorry, who gets this? This is a replica of the trophy. Yes, I know, I've turned it around. This is a replica of the trophy. Congratulations. I don't know if he's here, but he did very well. And the women's champion is Tracy Best, who gets this trophy. I actually use the same trophy, I just turned it around. Very well done to both of them. They did great times, very impressive. Congratulations. So other prizes, Peter Fifield got the best fancy dress. No trophy, I'm afraid, but you get a bead on, I think. Arpad, most inappropriate bike. Helena Way's got the most average speed, and Steve Avery got Anton Rouge. Well done, Steve. And this is a mock-up of the kit. So obviously the date will change. I haven't changed the date, but yeah, that's how it looks. It's a pretty cool kit, I think. Yeah, that's it for me.
Super. Thanks very much, Joe. Righty ho. What's next? I can't remember. Ah! It's our dream team, Peter and Will.
Hello. I'm going to speak for both of us, even though two of us share the same role. And I just need you to know that I'm interrupting Crumble to do this. So, like.
I've got food here, I'll have you know.
Yeah. Okay, right, let's move on to the next slide. So, part one of our job is organising our race for the Oxfordshire Road Race League. And because the Oxfordshire Road Race League didn't happen, our race didn't happen either. And I think that means that I can say with some confidence that had it done, we would certainly have won individual and team categories in both men and women and filled the podium of every race. I think that's pretty much nailed on. Hopefully the oral will happen next year. We've begun to make an agreement with ART, Abingdon Race Team, about having the whole series take place at Dalton in different formats and also some road time trials. Hopefully that will mean a mixture of different types of races as well, rather than just herring round the same circuit again and again at Dalton. Yeah, okay, so next slide. So men's road racing this year consisted of two races, a whole two races, and they were in March. But it has to be said, even within those two races, we achieved our aim of getting some new people racing. So Spring Chicken, that was in March. Jacob Anderson, who's just moved to South Shields. Craig Smith, Nick Muir, all raced in that race. And it was Craig's and Nick's first road race, and they did very well. So yeah, new people starting and road racing. The other race was Primavera Road Race in Devon, at which Jacob had a mechanical. Less good, but you know, when there are only two races, then you've got to count them. Okay, next slide. So there have been a lot more criteriums rather than road races this year, and largely because ART have been able to run their race series pretty much uninterrupted. They didn't have their long summer series that they would usually do, but they did do their winter crit series as normal, and that was very well attended. I think in one race we had maybe 6 riders in a Cat 3 race, which was pretty good for February, and it was grim and 40-mile-an-hour wind. Pete Smith did some racing at Odd Down, Lee Valley Velo Park. Yeah, some new people tried racing, including our very own Arna Walters. Some people got points. Nobody got enough points to move up a category. And then the whole system of British cycling points just crumbled away because and the autumn-winter series at Dalton, there are no points for that. So nobody has moved up or gone down categories. So that means that the only thing that we can really count is wins, and Pete Smith and James Spicer won races this year, which is pretty good, again, considering how few there are. So, okay, next.
Well done, fellas. That's really good.
So I think this has to be the best bit, considering what a weird year we've had. Will and I were elected to the men's race secretary's job on a kind of ticket of inclusiveness and opportunity, wanting racing to be as open as possible, rather than the activity that's the sole domain of people who reach a minimum speed or whose face fits a certain kind of look. So here's the list of male Condors who raced this year: Jacob Anderson, Aaron Curran, George Edwards, me, Pete Fry, Mark Glendinning, Enrico Guizzardi, John Hale, Andy Haynes, Andrew Harborne, Nick Muir, John Mulvey, Andy Parsons, Will Pepper, Pete Smith, James Spicer, Maciek Tomicek, Matt Veal, who thought that he was racing for OUCC but actually had us down as his first claim club, and Anna Walters. And then, of course, there are other members who would usually race that just didn't have chance to this year. So we have a really big squad of men who are interested in and feel involved in racing, whether that's just dipping a toe in or for whom this matters a lot, and they're always there. So I think that's really good news. Okay, next slide. So in the absence of very much racing, as Matt's presentation rather gave away, Will and I have put our efforts into leading a lot of rides, a lot of faster rides. So if we can't race, we can at least go fast. So since July, when faster rides became possible, we've led at least 15 fast club rides. We've covered 825 kilometers, averaging 34.4 kph. Our fastest ride, actually, that wasn't the fastest ride, I realised. So Pepper put these together, and it was actually the ride. It was a screamer around the Bicester Loop at 39.9 kph. So
crucially, that one wasn't fast enough, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which just happens to be several seconds slower than George and I did it the year before. Oh well. So more than 25 male racers have been involved in these rides, and more than half a dozen of the women racers. And I hope it's not anticipating what Kristen has to say, but we continue our efforts to integrate men's and women's sides of racing as much as is sort of enabling for both sides of the club. So without standing on each other's toes, enjoying the fact that we have a big and diverse race team. So we ran regular weekend rides through winter aimed at races last year, and have already begun to do the same this year. And my last thing to say is that sorry, I know I can't see that because there's a message. Early expressions of interest. If you want to have a go in racing next year and have not yet plucked up the courage, then send us a message, because it would be nice to hear from you. So, okay, I think that's everything.
Super. Thank you very much, Peter. And I know Will hasn't said much, but he's been very much involved in this. Oh, there's another slide.
Oh, is there? Oh God.
Who the hell knows? 4 question marks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the gobby one, I guess. Out of
that's Will. Just say that's Will's slide.
Yeah. So 2021, we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we're planning as much as we can. We're planning to organise a road race as well as our contribution to the oral series at Dalton, because it matters, particularly for the women's road race scene. I think collectively we have a lot of experience and ability in the club, and I think we're a good place to develop with kind, friendly people who can help with things from everything from fitness to tactics to logistics, lifts, and all of these kinds of things. And yeah, we're going to continue to plan for next year to field a mixture of new people as well as more experienced riders. So yeah, we want to be a club in which people can thrive as racers. So, okay, I hope that's the last slide.
I believe it is. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much.
So we've heard a bit about men's racing there. Now we'd love to talk about women's racing as well. So let's bring in Kristen.
Hello.
Hello.
How's the sound? All right.
Great.
Good. Okay, so oh shit, my battery. Sorry, hold on. I've got like a bad connection. Sorry. Keeps getting unplugged. My battery dies. Right. So I'm using pictures more instead of words. Because I like pictures.
Just a few.
And also I think it's really important that it's made visible what the women are doing. Yeah, it shows, you know, what we're doing, that, you know, all sorts can get involved. So funny year. We started off on a real high. So we started doing the winter series at Dalton, had some really good results there, and then on to the British Team Cup, which is a national series. It used to be called the British Team Series, or the Team Series. So it's really exciting to have a club racing there, because it's usually just women's teams that are involved. So yeah, to have a club there was really, really cool. So unfortunately, Amy couldn't make it. We were quite sure she had COVID, actually. And we're also quite sure that Rose had COVID right before the Team Series race. So yeah, we were affected. So at the Team Series riders, Amy, which is Paulie, me, Rose McGovern, and Helena Coker. So yeah, so then a period of kind of, you know, not sure what to do with ourselves. And then what happened? We could start riding again. And I was quite keen to start riding with new people. And lo and behold, loads of new women were about and keen to race. So we had people like Emma Cadw-Hudson and Lizzie Hodges, who were kind of stuck in the country or stuck in Oxford, kind of meant to be somewhere else, and able to ride with us. And then we had Stephanie Cadw-Hudson as well. So we had the kind of whole family, which has been really fun. So Mary Brooks as well, who we met at Digme. So hopefully we'll get that running again. A good way to kind of get strong and get started with racing. So yeah, so I don't know, we've just been doing some fun skill stuff. We got permission to use Dalton on Wednesday evening, so we did some skills there, and Lizzie Hodges and Steve Avery were led a lot of that and did an excellent job, so thank you very, very much for your work there. Yeah, and then what's happened, I don't know, we did some other skills sessions, some TT rides, things like that. And then we've got the Richard Kell Memorial Series going on, and that's those super crits you might have heard of. So they're 3 15-minute races, which I was completely against at first. I thought it was going to be a complete smash fest, and well, not smash up fest. But actually they've proved to be all right, and haven't felt very dangerous really. Except there were some choppers today, so it felt a bit scary. But yeah, so that's been really fun. We've had lots of top 10s, and now we've suddenly got loads of people racing. So we've got Rachel, who's new. Who am I missing? Let's look at pictures. This is helpful. Rachel, Lizzie. Oh, we had the Zwift race earlier, which we had Cheryl and Harry and Fuzz involved. That was really fun. Helena is doing Zwift racing. So if you want to get involved in these Zwift racing over the winter, let me know, or let Hannah Coker know. So yeah, looking forward to 2021. No idea what it will bring. But we've got a strong team to go. And yeah, let me know if you want to get involved. You're welcome to come along to anything. Right, and yeah, it's a real privilege to be race sec with so many amazing ladies out there. And thanks very much to the male race secs, whatever you're called. For support.
Peter and Will. Peter and Will.
Oh, Peter and Will, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know, race secretaries.
Oh God. Super. Thank you very much, Kristen. That's great. Like, so much positive energy there. It's been a great year, I have to say. Right. What is next? T&D. Aha. So I'm going to present this on behalf of Aaron. He's got some stuff going on at the moment, so I said I'd give him a hand. So if we think back to the beginning of the year, the Condors year, if you like, that kind of starts October. So cyclocross was a big thing back then. So there was quite a lot of cyclocross skill sessions going on down in South Park. I believe that's where I got quite a lot of insect bites, actually. Andy Haynes, thank you very much for helping with that. I know that you brought cones and all sorts to help set up courses for us to practice cornering on and stuff like that. So that's something that Aaron was very much involved in at the beginning of the year. Spinning at Dig Me. So I don't know if you remember, every Tuesday, Aaron would sit there on Facebook all afternoon as people dropped in and out of the classes, and at the end of the day he would attempt to email a list of names to Dig Me. So he was very much involved in getting that set up and running. It was our biggest sessions ever. So when we first started, I think we had something like six or 8 week blocks, but last year we went for 10-week blocks either side of Christmas. Bring a Friend was introduced. And if you believe these numbers, oh my God, 777 spin sessions between a lot of us were completed, 20,000 virtual kilometres. I imagine a lot of that was probably John Hale, to be fair. The very last spin session was cancelled due to the start of COVID. So that probably was March, I guess, I think. Yeah, so Aaron did a great job there, organising all of that for us, those very special pain caves. Aaron's also been involved in talking to British Cycling and trying to get an understanding of what we can and can't do during COVID. Basically, we can get away with skills sessions as long as we don't call them coaching. If we want to call it coaching, you have to be an accredited coach and it has to be on closed roads, so somewhere like Dalton. So we've got a better idea of what we can and can't do now. So that might be helpful for George going forwards. What else? There was something else. Oh yeah, Aaron was helping me with the storage. This is what he came up with. I think you'll notice there's quite a lot of daylight there in the corner, and I believe it was infested with spiders. Luckily for you guys, I went away and came up with this instead. So we've now got proper storage at Pedal and Post, CCTV, 24-hour access. So if you have stuff at home in your shed, garage, loft, please let us know. We've got keys to get in. And
just to clarify, that's this Condor stuff rather than anything else you'd like to get rid of.
Yeah, thanks, Arnie, for the clarification. Condor stuff only, please. I don't want any of your shite. Thank you. So, and Aaron had looked after the 3-meter boards from the cross race in his garage all year. So thank you very much to him for looking after that. Yeah, so if you have stuff Condor stuff that you want to get rid of, please put it in here, let me know. And finally, no AGM is complete without this picture of Aaron. It's my last opportunity to show this as he's standing down. What a hunk, can I just say? Just amazing.
Is that hair photoshopped on?
No, that's genuine hair right there. So Aaron, I'm sure, is very grateful that I've done this section for him now. Sorry. Right, let's move on. Cyclocross and social. So I'll hand the baton to our friend up north, Arnie.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I thought so I'm the social sec, or still am, just for a few more minutes. But I thought I'd start off with updating you about the cyclocross race that we did. So if you can go to the next slide, Cheryl. Oh, another one. There you go. So I think it was quite a big achievement for the club. It was our first ever cyclocross race that we organized, which includes a hell of a lot of work, lots of different things, contracts with venues, contracts with caterers, food providers, driving up and down the country to try and find stakes, and then try that again and again till you sort of end up with a few that you can actually use. But also just setting up the event and on the day, and we had an amazing group of people, and I think they were thanked last year at the AGM as well, because we were sort of in full swing organizing it. The cross that we organized was in December. I think it was a very inclusive event, which was certainly what we were aiming for, to try and entice people to come and sort of give cyclocross a go. There were lots of Condors out on the course, which is great to see, and also other local riders that don't typically come out to those races. Absolutely great. I think one of the other big achievements in this race is we delivered, I think, the most amount of mud that any Wessex cyclocross race had seen. And there's a huge amount of lovely pictures, particularly of Jen lying around in some of that mud as well. But what I thought instead, rather than showing you muddy pictures that you'll find online, I'll show you this picture, Cheryl. Yep.
Oh no.
This. And the reason why I put this on is just to show you how many people helped out. And I think it was an amazing Condor event. This is the volunteer schedule for the day of the race. And all these colored boxes are people that sort of put their time towards helping us out. So it's not only the committee that organized it, but a huge amount of members that came out and made it an amazing day. So that's why I thought I'd show that instead of mud pictures, but there you go. What I also thought I'd do is sort of give you a quick update on this year, because we sort of set out to try and organize this as an annual thing, because we thought it went really well. We sort of reviewed and thought, let's try again. But obviously COVID happened. We've been in contact with the Wessex League, that is sort of the league of clubs that we're part of at all organized races. Because of COVID, I had put in a lot of different restrictions, in particular limiting the field size, and the Wessex League was very focused on offering races for very seasoned racers. So they have a tiered access system, and you need to apply, and you only get in if you've raced a certain amount of races last year. So we felt there's very little room for us to run the inclusive event that we would want to run. So we've decided not to host a race this year. So far, to be fair, there's only one race been on, and quite a few have been cancelled as well. But I think it's safe to say that we'll be back next year, although it's very safe to say for me because I've moved up north. But I'm still very happy to give a hand, of course. But I thought I'd let you know about what's going on about cross. And then I'll jump on to the social sec stuff. So a lot of what you've heard today is things that didn't happen because of COVID. And I just wanted to point out that that Cheryl totally jinxed it. So when we had the first board meeting after the AGM last year, I sort of presented my plans, or one of the first meetings, presented my plans for the events that I want to run in 2020. And Cheryl literally said, if you can run even half of these, that would be brilliant. Haven't been able to run any of them. So as you obviously know, that doesn't mean we didn't do anything. There's a couple of things we did put on, which you'll see on the next slide. So the first one was the Christmas party last year. That was sort of, being sort of jumping in at the deep end after the AGM to try and get this up and running before December, which we held at the Oxford Blue. Lots of you were there. I think people really enjoyed it. And as sort of lockdown happened and we were limited to do further things, we thought, what can we do? Had a chat with the board and other people helping out, and Cicely and Stu in particular were sort of instrumental in sort of coming up with the idea of running a pub quiz. They're eating behind Cheryl. But so we've run a series of pub quizzes, and in addition to Cicely and Stu, there were loads of other people, and Anouk obviously as well, sorry. But there were loads of other There were lots of other volunteers as well. So all the rounds were sort of, people were fielding their own rounds of questions. I think it was really good fun. The next event I put on, that was the easiest event I've ever run. This was an amazing Kat and Raz, who gave us a talk about their amazing effort of cycling around the world. Literally, the only thing I did is send the Zoom link round, and everything else was them. But I think we all really enjoyed hearing from them. We had sort of planned for bigger celebrations when they arrived, but for the usual reason that couldn't go ahead. But I'm sure we will try and do that again if we can. And finally, this is something that came up through various discussions with the board, and particularly Peter Fifield as well, we sort of set up a treasure hunt. So there was a particular Saturday where lots of you sort of set off. At this stage, we all had to cycle on our own still. So we're very keen to try and create an event where you would run into other people. So we sort of still had some sort of sense of being part of the club. And I think it was reported up to like 20 to 30 spottings by some people of other Condors out on the road. So I think that was really nice. What will happen next is, well, I'm stepping down as social sec. I think there's somebody really capable filling in that post, and I'll share my list of ideas of all the things that I couldn't do, and then she can ignore those and come up with great plans of her own. But hopefully, 2021 will give us a bit more opportunity to see each other socially as well as on the bikes. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, Arnie. And I don't think you can underestimate the amount of work involved in that cross race either. That was a big project management task which was nailed. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right. Last but definitely not least, is on with social media. Do we have Lizzie in the house?
I am in a house, yes. Hey! How's it going? Cool. So,
slide.
I've just got one slide, so that makes life easier. But yeah, there's not masses to say because obviously there wasn't quite that much going on that we could share with people. But just a huge thank you to everyone who had tagged us in, or tagged the Condors rather, in their getting out on their bike and just general activities, just because then it's really easy to reshare that, so people can see that we're not just on ice throughout all of these things that have been going on recently. So huge thanks for that. Just to give you all a quick update of where we're at with things. So most recent check, we were on 526 Instagram followers, which is really cool. I haven't got the exact number from when we started really looking at this, but I feel like it was 200 and something possibly. So that's really good. A good increase, really. A particularly cool thing was when Emily Chappell basically added us in the RAFA Women's 100 remote campaign this year, which was really cool to see. So for those of you who don't know what that is, so the Women's 100 is something that RAFA run every sort of September, which aims at getting women out to do 100k, and normally that's in group rides and things like that, and they couldn't run those in the usual way. So Emily took part in this campaign, which essentially looked at who would be in your peloton when you're riding, those people that support you and that you imagine are with you the whole way. And she called us out on it, which is really cool. So it was a lot of awesome other ultra riders and then us. So that was just a really nice thing to see. And we had quite a lot of interest in our clicking through to our website and people liking our posts who'd seen that as well. So more great chances to show all the good things that we do and also the work we do with lots of women too. So that was definitely a highlight for me anyway. I'm not going to bore you with all the stats because but Facebook, I thought this was a really good opportunity to point out to everyone how massive our Facebook community is. We're on 2,250 people who are in our group. That's a lot. And obviously we had a look at the numbers from Ollie earlier and we were on 250 something members. So, you know, that's a huge group of people who have either been Condors, would like to be Condors, or are just in the local area and interested in seeing what we're doing. You know, when you dig into the stats of that, there's still 1,700 people actually interact with the Condors page. That's people who click on our page, who like things, who, you know, post stuff on it as well. I think that's fantastic, especially considering it's not just full of people trying to sell us shit. So that's it's just something to be aware of, I guess, when people are posting, that's a huge audience. It's as much as we obviously are a fantastic community, and you know, there's a lot of common voices in that. There are a lot of other people who see it. So it's just worth noting that. I think it was interesting as well to see that, you know, over the course of this year, we've had about 50 people a month asking to be members of our group. Some of them get declined because evidently they're spam, but that's, you know, that's a huge amount of interest. So yeah, that's probably it from me. It's a busy place, we're a huge community, and the majority of it is fantastic. Like, you know, everyone's brilliant and I love you all. So there you go. Just for like a going forward thing, keep tagging us and stuff on Instagram, keep sending us content that we can reshare and just show all the brilliant stuff that you guys are up to. Obviously cycling based preferably, but if you have, you know, like an independent business or something like that where, you know, that's not going to be us selling shit on your behalf, but where we can support you, then let us know.
Super. Thank you so much, Lizzie. And I think when you consider that we don't have a real physical space anywhere, so our social media is like our shop front window, if you like. It's really important that we continue to put out good news stories and help invite people in that way. So it's really valuable work. Thank you. So if you think back to the start of this evening, I opened with a slide of the coronavirus, and it's taken us over an hour to get through all the updates that we have for the year. I think that's pretty fucking impressive, guys. And just shows how much stuff that we've got going on, and it's really, really positive. So thank you for that. And with that, I'd like to move on to some annual awards and say some thank yous to people. So we're going to start with club contribution. So if I was in the AGM, normally right now, I would ask you to raise your hand if you have led a ride this year. So I think we did that, or maybe we can do like a reaction. Can you put a thumbs up if you've led a ride this year? Awesome. I'm seeing a lot of thumbs go up, which is fantastic. And that includes online rides as well, like Zwift and stuff. So I think for me, actually, ride leading is the most important job, bar none. If we don't have any rides, we don't have a cycling club. So all this other stuff that goes on that we do is fantastic. But at the end of the day, it's rides. That's what we're about. That is our bread and butter. So I want to say a huge thank you to anyone who's led any kind of ride this year or supported, been a second pair of eyes or a buddy on a ride. It's really, really valuable work. And I want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So my next thank you I have on my list, I want to go back in time to the cyclocross committee. So I did actually at the last AGM hand out some goodie bags to everyone, assuming that it would all go extremely well. And in fact it did, they proved me right. But I just want to reiterate my thanks again to Arnie, Steve Avery, Andy Haynes, James Schofield, Val Lambrex and Will Jones. So they were all on the organising committee. And also to everyone who volunteered across the weekend, from setting up tape in extremely windy conditions to standing in mud, rivers of mud. Thank you so much. I know it's not very sexy standing in a car park pointing where people need to go, but it's really valuable work, so I appreciate it. Thank you. My next set of thank yous is around the lockdown quiz, which kept us entertained during the very early days of COVID. Special thanks to Arnie and Anouk, Cicely and Stu. Actually, you're here, so I'll give you your thing here. Aww. Carmen and Liz and Tom Spain, who all hosted excellent rounds. I did a terrible job on all of them, I'm afraid to say, but I appreciated the effort nonetheless. My next thank you is, again, around the beginning of lockdown, when we couldn't really go outside properly to do big long rides. Matt Dixon organised lots of Zwift rides indoors, which was fantastic, and helped numerous people with their technical issues. I know Tom Roble as well on the line, he helped as well, trying to get people to work. Oh yeah, see a clap from Paul Groves, he had all sorts of issues, yeah. So thank you to those who helped others with their technical problems on the Zwift rides there, thank you. My next thank you is around a segment of the week. So this came back in once restrictions starting to lift. So Johnny Revis was instrumental in getting that rolling, and then Tom Bolton has picked that up recently. So thank you very much for that. I think everyone likes an opportunity to have a little smash fest on a local road. So thank you for that. My next thank you is around the news flash. This is our monthly email that we send out, and sometimes we don't really have much going on, so it's fantastic to have a ride review or a cafe review to add into the mix. So thank you especially to George Edwards, who's done several for us, Lizzie Hodges, Davide, and also Maciek, who has provided us with some photos as well. So thank you very much for that. I've really enjoyed reading all of your reviews. I think, Peter, you've done some as well, actually, haven't you? Yes, thank you for that. Very, very good. You're a good wordsmith, I have to say. Sorry, my list goes on, I'm afraid to say. So I'd like to say thank you to some people who've helped around the women's racing, particularly Lizzie Hodges, who kind of has exploded onto the scene as she's moved back into Oxford and has been a big help to Kristin. Helena Coker, who is, I'm on a WhatsApp group where she's organising all sorts of Zwift racing and TTTs at the moment, and she's, as always, doing a fantastic job. So thank you for that. Steve Avery, again, every year, a fantastic job supporting the entire club, skills sessions, driving behind groups, riding, event volunteering. He's all over it. So thank you so much, Steve. Really appreciate it. On the women's committee, I'd like to say a special thank you to Kat Young for helping Helen, Jen and Kristin. It's really important work, and it's great to have you on the team. With the ride leading, I'd like to say special thanks to Laura Fennick and Don Ramage, who've both been a great help to Matt this year. So thank you very much for your help there. TTs. So many people volunteered to help, and we can't run TTs without volunteers. It's just not safe to do so. So thank you very much for that. There's quite too many people to mention also, but I just would like to point out a couple of individuals who helped at multiple TTs, and that's Gwilym Davis and Paul Groves. So thank you very much for your time there. Really appreciate it. Right, last but not least, board members. I think you've seen this evening how much work goes into running this club. Huge, huge thanks to all the members who give up so much of their time to help run the club and help guide it in the right direction. It's been a particularly challenging year, but all of them have done a brilliant job, and I can honestly say with my hands on my heart, it's been a joy to work with all of them. There's been some fantastic bants on that Slack chat. It's been fantastic. I'm sad about 5 that are stepping down. So that's Arnie, Ollie, Aaron, Matt and Helen Rayner. They are all legends in their own individual way. I do, on the other hand, feel lucky that we've got 5 wonderful replacements coming on board. As we've seen tonight, we've got a Ride Leader of the Year and someone, this is a club first, someone with a Guinness World Record as well. So for me, it's really important that we stay open to new ideas, and having a good turnover on the board helps achieve that. So we might be sad to see 5 go, but the new 5 that come on will bring fresh ideas and new energy and enthusiasm as well. So before I move on to individual achievement, which Kristin's going to help me with, if I have forgotten anyone this evening, please let me know. It would actually really bother me to think that someone was sat there watching thinking, oh, but I did this thing and I didn't feel appreciated because I didn't get my name read out. That's not what I want to happen. So if that applies to you, drop me a line. Don't worry, I'll sort you out something. I dropped off lots of different goodie bags today, and I really, really hope they all arrive safely. Let's see. Oh, actually, yeah. So actually, Jen and Joe, these are yours. Yeah. So there you go. Oh God.
Cheryl, sorry. Is this normally at the AGM at this point, someone would stop and heckle and point out that we are all steered by you, and that nobody puts more time and effort into running the club than you. And you know, there's been some things that have happened recently that you've steered us through in terms of your response is always so measured. You always hit the right tone, and you've steered us in a fantastic direction for several years. So it's probably a good time for everyone to raise a glass to Cheryl and say,
yeah. Totally agree. I hope you bought yourself a goodie bag, Cheryl.
I might have got something out of that. Yeah.
Can we open these? Is there time to open them, or should we just
you can open them now. Yeah. If you got something, please do. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate that. Right, individual achievement. Kristen, are you okay to help me with this one, please?
Hi, yes, hi. Are we, hello?
Hello.
Yes. Hi, yes. So we normally do sort of awards for achievements in racing, and there hasn't been a lot of racing. So we're not doing kind of the best race performance this year. But we've got, well, actually we do have one. we've got a huge one that I think people forget that this was a race, which is Kat and Raz circumnavigating the globe. It was an actual race that they were doing, and they did phenomenally well. So a huge congratulations to them. I don't feel really worthy of giving them this award because it's, we could leave it to the Guinness Book of World Records. But yeah, big congratulations from the Condors. Well done to Kat and Raz. Amazing. So we've got a best off-road performance, and I don't know if he's here, but he did the Atlas Mountain Race. I think that was pre-COVID, and then on to do the GB Dura, which is organised by the Racing Collective. And this year it was quite interesting. They decided really early on that it would be a self-supported race because they just didn't know what would happen. So you had to bring all your food, all your stuff with you, and pack it all back out. So lots of people with trailers and all sorts. Not many people finished, but we have a Condor who finished, and that was James Illman. So he has our best off-road performance. So well done to James. Yeah. And then he's not here, is he? James? And Kat and Raz here. I'm sorry.
Here earlier. I can see Kat actually.
Yeah, Kat's here too.
Here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, Kat.
Hi, everyone.
Would you like
Sorry, I didn't. Lovely to see you, and big congratulations. And we hope to hear more from you. We did a Condors sort of chat about your race early on, but we'd love to hear more and more and more. I don't know what you guys are thinking.
Yeah, no, we'd be really happy to do something when we're all allowed out. It would be nice to do a sort of face-to-face.
I want a party.
Yeah, we still want to have our party, so hopefully we'll be able to get that arranged and have a bit of a party to celebrate at some point.
Yes, I want a party, definitely. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But thanks everyone for the support. The Condors were just fantastic, and it was really great that we knew that you were all there sort of supporting us around the world. It was brilliant.
Yeah, thank you.
Kristen, can I just say, James Illman's just popped up on my screen.
Okay. James, do you want to say hello?
Yeah, thanks very much.
So, yeah, congratulations.
More than that. Come on.
We've got to do a speech. Oh my goodness. Not prepared.
Tell us your darkest moment during the GB Dura.
Probably when I was it was literally dark because I had no torch left or anything, and I had no way of powering it. So I had to just ride until it got dark and then pitch a tent. And yeah, just like I was hiding in the corner of a field, hoping the farmer wouldn't see me. And so I could put a tent up and yeah, in the dark, basically.
Brilliant. Thanks, James. Kat, while we're at it, do you want to give us your maybe your best moment, one of your best moments, one of your 10 best, doing your ride?
Oh, I don't know. There's so many great moments, really. I mean, I think there's a highlight in each country, but I mean, one of the ones for me, I guess, was quite early on when we rode over the causeway to Venice, and the sun was going down, and it was just really, really beautiful. And it was just sort of exciting to think we'd ridden to Venice, of all places. But lots in India and Southeast Asia, and going across the Nullarbor Desert as well. I think that was a pretty good highlight, even though it was headwind and pretty hot. And we had a serious mechanical, but it was all added to the to the experience. But Raz is on as well, so I'm sure she's got some.
Yeah,
Here.
Yeah. I think the Nullarbor Desert for me, it was like it's the equivalent of cycling from Land's End to John O'Groats and back, and there are 8 roadhouses in it, and we had to carry 12 litres of water, all our food. We had a 7-hour mechanical, lots of loveliness, but we did it. It was really fun. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Amazing, amazing. Okay, so a couple other awards. So the other award we've got is the Breakthrough Rider. So it's a couple because we've got the men's and the women's. So the men's Breakthrough Rider of the year is Craig Smith. I don't think he's here. Peter, did you or Will, did you want to say a little bit about why we've selected him?
Yeah, I'm happy to. So this was Craig's first year racing at all, and he launched himself into a road race off his own bat, the first road race of the year. Stayed in the front group right until the last sort of few kilometers, and he raced at Dalton in the winter. He did a 400-kilometer ride with some of the kind of more experienced riders. He's been back out racing today. Like he's just such a good example of you don't need to give somebody much opportunity before he throws himself into it. Like absolutely everything. He's been there, and it's been really impressive, and it makes me really excited for next year. So yeah.
Cool, thank you. Right, and then the women's Breakthrough Rider. So I've selected 3. And they're all rowers, which may be cheating, I'm not sure, ex-rowers. So we've got Emma Caddy-Hudson, Mary Brooks and Stephanie Caddy-Hudson. And it's just been a real pleasure to watch these women become racers. So Emma, I remember our first ride, you know, she was really quite new to cycling, and now she's smashing it at Dalton. So it's really amazing to see. Mary Brooks, super strong from indoor training, and then going from, you know, really strong riding indoors to then transferring that onto the road. So that's been really cool to see. And Stephanie has been riding sort of longer distances and been around for a longer time, but then turning all that kind of individual riding into kind of team riding. So yeah, it's been really, really cool to see. And I don't think any of them are here, but yeah, congrats to them for the Breakthrough Rider Award. I think that's it for my awards.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Kristen, for your help there. Going to move on to the final section of this evening now, which is announcing the new board for the next season. And this is based on all the online voting that's happened in the last couple of weeks. I'm glad to say that no serious concerns were raised about any candidates this year. Dave normally raises one for me about my sleeveless and affecting the club reputation there. So glad to see I didn't get one this year. So the president for the coming year will be my good self. There we go. Next up, we've got club secretary. So Ollie standing down. Ooh, boo-hoo. However, we have the excellent Tom Spain joining us. So I'm very much looking forward to working with him. I can't see the top of my screen. Does this say treasurer?
Yep.
Great. Dave Dyer's back in town. Get in.
Yay.
Awesome. There's nothing better for treasurer than a maths teacher, I have to say. It's great. Welfare officer.
Yep.
The excellent Jen Greystone. Ride leader secretary. It's our ride leader of the year, Laura Fennick. Awesome, well done.
Women's officer.
Thank you. There's a menu bar right fucking in the middle of this. Women's officer, I'm delighted to have Helen back on the team. Thank you very much.
The time trial secretary.
Can only be So Greystone. He's cheering himself here. Oh, I can see this one. Men's race secretary / oral leads. The dream team is back. We've got little and large. It's Peter and Will. Great photos.
Women's race sec.
Thank you. Women's race. I'm delighted that Kristen is standing again. We'll have her on the team. So thank you very much. Training and Development Officer, sad to say goodbye to Aaron, but delighted to say hello to George Edwards. He's hiding in his jumper there. I don't know if that's a good or a bad sign. We'll find out.
Kit officer.
Kit officer. Oh, we're saying goodbye to Helen. However, the amazing Razzle Marsden is joining the team. Yes, apparently she's good friends with Stolen Goat. So let's see what happens there. Yeah. Let's see. And then
Social sec.
Social sec. Oh, Arnie. Oh, sad.
I know. I'm going to miss you all.
We'll drag you into something from afar, I'm sure.
Yes, please do.
On the plus side.
Yay! Arnie, I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to do you proud. Yes.
She does the best bunting.
Definitely.
So, last but very much not least, Lizzie's back again. Yay! Thank you very much. Now, so there we go. That's everyone who's volunteered to stand for this year. So it's a fantastic team and I'm really looking forward to working with everyone. So thank you very much for volunteering. It's going to be awesome. Even if COVID's going to turn things to shit, we'll find a way to make it positive, don't you worry. So thank you guys. Are there any questions that you would like to ask just openly or on the chat? It's okay if there are none as well, that's fine.
Cheryl, there's only one thing I wanted to add.
Yes.
Was I've been in talks with Didcot Phoenix. I know some people that know me know I lost my parents this summer.
Yes.
Didcot, they were life members of Didcot Phoenix. Some of us did the Rollerpalooza last year.
Yes.
I'm doing my best. I want to get that up and running as an annual event.
Yeah.
And I'm in talks with them. So keep your eyes out. Hopefully we'll get something up and running in the near future. But it will be an annual event and it will be a proper competition as well.
And you know, I know that's something that can be done socially distanced as well. Like you could separate out the bikes, or you could do it outside. There's quite a few different.
Yeah. Well, the reason I've been speaking to Didcot because, like I say, my mum was a big fan of it because it's not just the racing, it's the socialising as well.
Yeah, that's right.
It's that getting people together and getting clubs together. I'm hoping to try to turn it into an inter-club event.
Yeah, that's a great thing. I'd love to see that happen again. So yeah, let's keep talking about that, Steve. Definitely. Yeah, great idea. If there's any other great ideas out there, happy to hear them. One thing I will say is that you may have seen on the Facebook group during the week, the question has arisen again around youth provision in the local area, and there's quite a big gap there. I think we've always been keen to see the club go in that direction. We do, however, need volunteers to help make that happen. So currently at capacity, we kind of don't have, we need more people to come forward basically. So if you want to see juniors or children or kind of like older teenagers out on Condor rides, or to help get them out riding, we need some help to make that happen. So if that's something that interests you, or you know someone that would like to do that, get in touch. We'd love to hear from you basically. So I know I spoke to David Jones from Oxonian on the phone during the week, and he's very keen to make this happen. So give us a shout if that's something that you think you can help with. Any other questions or comments? No, that's okay. That is the end then. If anyone would like to have would anyone like to have a go at this in the tube challenge? Thanks to all. That's okay. We don't have to do it. We can just hang out here for a while, just leave the videos on if people want to chat. That's fine as well. Yeah, cool. Thanks very much, guys, for attending our first online AGM. What's the time?
9:07.
Wow, 9:10. That is not too shabby. That's guys. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
How do I draw a bollock on here?
Annotation.
Annotate.
That's it, yeah.
Hang on. Annotate. Draw. Draw.
That's it.
That one. Oh. Oh, I need a pink. Line width. I'm gonna try and